describe it as being a big village, because it has a very small permanent population, and there are certain ways, if you wish, that you can get involved in the community very easily. There's lots of different things, but something like this obviously involves, it's not a sporty project, it involves the people, the women especially, who like creative work. There's other things. There are people who swim every day in the sea. There are people who play tennis. But if that's not for you, this perhaps a creative hobby or enterprise like this is more fitting. So people find what they want to do.
Mae adrodd straeon, boed yn ffeithiol neu ffuglen, yn nodwedd gynhenid o'r natur ddynol. Rydym ni fel bodau dynol yn cael ein gyrru i hysbysu eraill am ddigwyddiadau ein bywyd, ein hanes a'n hunaniaeth ddiwylliannol. Dechreuodd hyn gyda delweddau megis darluniau ogodd a heiroglyffau, yn ogystal â thraddodiadau llafar, lle roedd straeon yn cael eu trosglwyddo o berson i berson, o genhedlaeth i genhedlaeth, ar lafar gwlad. Datblygodd hyn ymhellach i gwmpasu naratif a gwybodaeth strwythuredig mewn llyfrau. Tynnu'r pob cymdeithas tuag at gynrychiolaethau gweledol, mae'n ffordd gyfanfydol o gyfathrebu, sy'n trosesgyn iaith, ffiniau ac amser. Yn ein cymdeithas fodern heddiw, rydym yn gallu dehongli straeon gweledol, pictograffig ar unwaith, gydag empathi ac emosiwn, eu bod nhw'n dyddio nôl i wawr gwareiddiad. Dyma ddau Ceredigion ar yr ochr ddeheuol o Benrhyn Llŷn. Mae pobl wedi byw yn y gymuned hon ers dros 2000 o flynyddoedd. Dywed rhai bod enw'r dref, Criccieth, yn tarddu o grug a chaeth. Crug yn air am fryncyn, a chaeth sy'n cyfeirio at gaethiwed carcharor. Yn sicr mae'r castell ar y penrhyn creigiog enfawr wedi dal llawer o ddynion mewn celloedd caeth a thywyll dros ei hanes hir. Mae grŵp anhygoel a chreadigol o ferched o Criccieth wedi manteisio ar y ffurf hynafol hon o adrodd straeon, sy'n parhau â thraddodiad hanesyddol megis y Tapestry Bio, cyfres yr Unicorn a Tapestry'r Alban. Fel pob taith fawr, dechreuodd Tapestry Criccieth gyda syniad bach, un cam. A thros fisoedd lawer, esblygodd i fod yn ddarlun o'r dref sy'n cyffau ac yn dathlu ei hunigrywiaeth, ei chymreigdod a'i bywiogrwydd. Defnyddiwyd sgiliau traddodiadol hynafol wrth greu'r darn, gan osgoi defnyddio technoleg fodern, ac yn y broses cynhyrchwyd casgliad o ddelweddau hynod o brydferth sy'n grefftus a chain yn ei gwneithuriad.
Well, it all started with Criccieth Gown of Poppies back in the pandemic, where we had a community project which resulted in us having a fantastic gown of poppies with 5,000 community poppies as a chain for it. And we realised through that project that there were so many talented people out there with their handiwork, and that most of the work had been done at home, and then coming together, you know, to put the project together. So this led to different ideas then about what we could do in terms of Criccieth as a place, a beautiful place, historical place. And there came about an idea that we should start some work on the streets of Criccieth, and we completed work for the Memorial Hall Centenary, which was held back in May-June 2022, and unveiled our version of Marine Terrace in knitted, crochet and textile and embellishment, and that comprised a group of around 20 ladies, and there was a grand plan which was put together of the Marine Terrace, and everybody decided on their version of the houses, whether it was going to be felted or knitted or crochet. I think because we were a group, obviously if it was an individual trying to do this, that could be quite daunting, but we found that coming together, helping each other, having sort of discussing ideas about how to put this together, it was all very cathartic, and you know, the fellowship.
Roedd graddfa a chyflymder y llwyth gwaith yn enfawr a phellgyrhaeddol. Yn ogystal ag arddangos sgiliau crefft gywrain o radd flaenaf, roedd y prosiect yn cynnwys elfennau o adeiladu, dylunio a chyflwyno gwaith. Ymarferoldeb trefnu cyfarfodydd, cwrdd â dyddiadau cau, datrys problemau, a threfnu a rheoli prosiect. Mae pob un o'r uchod wedi gofyn am ymroddiad parhaus gan grŵp unigryw o ferched Criccieth. Oll yn llwyddo i ganolbwyntio a chydgyfeirio dros gyfnod hir o amser. Gwnaethant gefnogi ei gilydd trwy oleuni a thywyllwch y prosiect, ei rwystredigaethau a'i anawsterau, ac yn y broses adeiladu a'r chwaeroliaeth bwerus o gyfeillgarwch benywaidd egniol. Fydd yn uno'r merched yma gyda'i gilydd am oes. Maent wedi cydnabod pwysigrwydd perthynas, i ymddangos mewn gweithdai pan oedden nhw'n flinedig, i'w cadw'n gall pan oeddent yn ddigalon, i roi help llaw i'w gilydd pan fo angen, ac i barhau gyda'i gweledigaeth pan wnaethant golli ei ffordd.
At first thought it was just going to be, you know, a bit of stitching up, got 4 houses to do, and that would be it. But it's definitely grown, because by the time we put it down onto the big sheet and we were adding all the embellishments and different things, it grew and together, it just really grew, and we added more personalities and different things. And we were saying with this one, we said we're doing it again, girls. And it was just lovely because it was just the rest of the town, and she'd done the plan of the town, the drawing of the town, so it was for the map. So it was nice to sort of do it in more detail. It's nice to have detail.
All these ladies have come together they've all got their own personalities, they've all got their own unique take on how to create their piece of the street, you know. So I wanted that to come through in the work. And the planning was really quite a quick process, really, just by setting all the work out on graph paper. All this is sent to me to school. I created a map of Criccieth previously, a painted map that took many hours, that's around town, and I learnt that you can capture the town from aerial photography really well, so going on Google Earth, and then that's a valuable way of setting out the scene with it, you know, and then setting it all out on graph paper. But I wanted it quite large to create an impact so that it's not too fiddly and the pieces weren't too small. So we created the graph on about a 4.5 metre stretch of roll of graph paper. I just drew it quite loosely, to be honest, a lot of artistic license, because what I thought was the street down the other edge faces the sea. I wanted the front of the house to be flipped around, so logistically it was quite a tricky one to figure out, you know, the rows of houses going up or are they going down, and you know which house is next door to one another, and so yeah, setting it all up. But I thought that there are lovely elements within, because we're going to put, for example, we're going to put the seal in, and there's a seal on the seafront that always perches on this stone in front of the terrace, and we're going to put some swimmers in, and we've got woolly hatters, a group of ladies that go out in midwinter even, you know, swimming in the sea, so we're going to put them in, and probably put you know, a few characters. I know somebody mentioned that they'd like to put a few ladies sat on a bench. They said quite large. I mean, I like working big. I do. I think it's you know, it does. It's a challenge. Yeah, it's overwhelming to begin with, but that's what a group of people can do when they come together. You know, that as for an individual is beyond. It would take years, wouldn't it? But that's what the beauty of coming together. You know, you create a section of it, and then layer by layer, it comes together, and that's why the scale of it. That's why I created it this big. I haven't pushed anybody to do it. Everybody's been willing and wanting to take part. Over the summer months, you know, people were busy, and so you know, you don't want to be setting it as a task so it becomes a burden. It's not that at all, because creativity is meant to make you relax and, you know, enjoy and switch off, and it's more to do with that. So if anybody from the group mentioned, you know, oh, this is getting a bit much, we then shared it wasn't a workload, even shared the tasks then. So say somebody said, oh, I'll have that house, or you take that little piece on the street. So we shared and made sure that we were openly communicating. We had a WhatsApp group, and you know, we shared as the work progressed. Or talented, then you know, why not celebrate that and show others? Why not? And also, you know, as a teacher, a little word of sort of support and being grateful for and telling the student, right, that you're doing well here. And quite often as adults we don't hear that, do we? So I think it's really lovely between us that we can just a word of, you know, and it's genuine, honestly genuine. I am amazed by what everybody's created. It sends me to tears when I see this, because seeing this come together is wonderful.
Bydd y tapestry a'r rhai sydd wedi cyfrannu at ei chreu yn rhan hynod werthfawr o hanes Criccieth, ac yn testament parhaus i'w ffocws emosiynol, ei creadigrwydd a'i pŵer.
gyda'n gilydd gwnawn gofnod o'r strydoedd sy'n hynod yn y dre dawn ynghyd i gyfarfod lôn felyn ar gyrion y creigiau mawr cyrfion creu ni frithwaith cain o atgofion. And layer by layer we made it together, and our friendship was strengthened forever. Trafod storiau chwedle a chaneuon o amgylch. Trafod storiau chwedle a chaneuon o amgylch llwyth o dan. Clytwaith lliwgar llon lliw daeth at ei gilydd, pwyth wrth pwyth angor i'r llinyn man. And we gathered round the fire on an evening to create this tapestry of town. And the legends, songs and stories were recorded, and we anchored those memories down. Gofnod o'r strydoedd sy'n hynod yn y dre dawn ynghyd i gyfarfod lôn felyn ar gyrion y creigiau mawr cyrfion creu ni frithwaith cain o atgofion. And layer by layer we made it together, and our friendship was strengthened forever.